When I say trust the, you say process. Trust the.
Process.
Trust the.
Process.
I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I'm excited that you joined us. I'm excited to share this bold, intuitive, and transformative idea with you today. And I love stories because every story has a process. It doesn't matter if you start a process. It doesn't matter if you fail a process. Every story comes with a process. I wanted to share this story of a process that I went through. It was making a baked macaroni and cheese for my fiance. And I know how much she loves my mom's and my grandma's version. So I decided that I was going to try and make this. So to start this process, I did exactly what any son would do. I called her. And I asked her to help me with the ingredients and help me with the steps. So she helped me. She walked me through it. We walked through the process, and everything was great. My fiance enjoyed it. She loved eating the mac and cheese, so it was worth every step of the process. Now I tried to do the process again. And what I didn't share with you is I tried to do it in a healthy manner. So I used fat-free milk instead of the evaporated canned milk. I had no idea the mac and cheese wasn't going to come out the way it came out the first time. It was funny because my fiance still tried to encourage me and tell me that it was good, but I knew it wasn't good. So I told you my process. What is the process that you need to trust today? For some of you, it may be an educational process. For some of you, it may be a financial process. For some of you, it may be a parental process because we know children are not always the easiest to deal with. But what is the process that you need to trust today? I suggest that there's 3 things that you need to trust any process. You need consistency, you need commitment, and you need confidence. Through consistency in a process, you get commitment from committing to the process, and you build confidence along the way of the process. So let's start with consistency. When we think about consistency, I suggest that we think about an upward movement. We think of a high elevation because we think that the more that we do something, we're supposed to be getting better at it. But I suggest that consistency looks like me going to the gym and knowing that every time I go to the gym, there are some days where I give it a whole hour, there are some days where I give it 30 minutes, and there are some days where I just give it 10 minutes because my battery may be low. I think about the same process when I'm reading because there are some days where I can read the whole chapter of the book, there are some days where I read 10 pages out the book, and there are some days where I just read 1 page. The commonality in what I'm explaining is that it does not matter what percent I'm on, as long as I'm reading, as long as I'm staying consistent in the action, then that means I'm trusting the process of moving forward. And I was thinking about how to show this to you, and I thought about a cell phone because everybody in here has one. And if you think about how your cell phone works, when your low battery light goes on, when your 50% battery is on, when your full battery is on, it does not matter what percent the cell phone is on, you still can make a call, you still can make the text. And as long as the battery doesn't say that the power is off, and as long as the battery doesn't say that the phone is not working, then you still can continue with the process of how a cell phone works. It's the same way with you in your life. See, there are moments in your life where you may feel like you're empty. You may feel like your battery is low, but you have to trust the process and knowing that you have to show up and be consistent throughout the whole process. Next, let's talk about commitment. What does commitment look like to you? I know that some of you in here, commitment may look like 7 days out the week. For some of you in here, commitment may look like 2 to 3 days out the week. But then for some of you, commitment may look like nothing at all. You may find struggles, you may find challenges in commitment. And I was thinking about how to explain this to you, and the idea came to my head. Commitment for me was starting a business. And I don't know if we have any entrepreneurs in here, but we all know what this process can look like. You're committing to something that's not even promised a return on your investments. You're steady dumping money into something where you're not getting paid up front. But it's through that commitment you keep on building up your company. Jim Rohn said it best. Motivation is what gets you started. Commitment is what keeps you going. When I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the things that they tell me is that it's so hard to keep going in the business. And I was thinking about this, And I remember when I first bought a camera, I had no idea where it was going to take me. I didn't have any clients. I didn't have any experience. But one thing I did have was a little bit of faith. One thing I did have was believing in myself. One thing I did have was knowing that I can make all things possible through Christ. And when I think about the three types of people in life, there's a defeated person, there's a motivated person, and there's a committed person. And I want to talk to you about all three. I suggest that the committed person is the person who just keeps going, who weathers the storm, who has resilience, who doesn't give up, who continues to keep the train moving. The motivated person is the person who gets in rooms like this and starts clapping and gets excited when they hear something that they love to hear, but then they get back out those doors and they don't change anything. The defeated person is the person that's just tired. They've been going at this thing for so long and they're not seeing any progress. They've been going at this thing so long and they're not seeing anything changing. They've been putting their all into the relationship and they don't see any return out of it. Finally, I want to talk about confidence. I was looking at this image and what came to mind was how sometimes we don't want to look into the mirror because we don't like to see what's in the reflection. And the thing that stood out to me was that a lot of times in life, we're the one causing the chaos in the reflection. And when I thought about the defeated person, I also wanted to figure out how we get them out of the defeated stage, how we get them to a motivated stage, and get them to the committed stage. And the thing that came to me last night when I was coming up with an idea is these words right here. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So just because your eyes is covered, that doesn't mean that you're giving up on life. That doesn't mean that things will not get better. Matter of fact, let me show you this next image so you can understand what I'm saying. Because when I was looking at this right here, I got a little bit excited because this man has crazy faith. This man has promised faith. This man has working faith. Who in here has some working faith? Is anybody in here who has some crazy faith? Because when I was thinking about this, I thought about me walking across the stage and getting my degree because I'm working so hard right now to make sure that things happen. Matter of fact, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about me signing the dotted line on the deed with my fiance and we getting the for sale sign or the sold sign sitting in front of the house. Better yet, let me do you one better. I was thinking about getting on the lot and getting the new keys off the lot with the new car smell and telling somebody that we just got a brand new car. I wonder if there's anybody in here that can be committed, that can be consistent, and that can be confident and trust in their process. Finally, I'll leave you with a challenge. And I wanted to make sure that this challenge was something that you could take out of here today. The first thing is to never lie to the process. My mom always used to tell me this saying, be careful telling one lie because you're going to have to keep telling more lies to cover up the first lie that you told. I didn't understand that as a kid, but as you start to grow up in life, you start to see that the more you lie, the more you have to cover it. And being from Charleston, we have a little Geechee on us. So my grandmother used to say this saying right here, a lie don't care who tell them. And I was thinking about that because on the other side of lie is the truth. So when I was thinking about trusting a process, I was thinking about what that looked like. And then I started thinking about where the truth comes from, and the truth says, greater is he that's in me than he who is in this world. The truth says that we walk by faith and not by sight. The truth says that we can do anything through Christ. And the truth also says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Second thing, don't rush the process. And I was thinking about how to explain this to you, and this came to mind with when you're driving 60 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour speed limit. There happen to be some lights that come behind you, and you see them in your rearview mirror. And the officer walks up to the car and says, I have to give you a ticket because you've been speeding today. That's the same way with your process. When you feel like you're rushing your process, when you feel like you're moving too fast, give yourself a ticket because you need to slow down. Finally, last but not least, don't cheat the process. Don't get to the final semester in your graduation process and plagiarize your paper. Don't get to the altar and say, I do, and cheat the next day. There's no shortcuts to greatness. So you have to remember that the minute you try to lie to the process, the minute you try to cheat the process, the minute you try to rush the process, is the minute that you did not trust the process. And I was thinking about how to end this off, and I thought about whether you know basketball or not. Everybody's heard of Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan impressed me because he trusted the process. Even though he got cut 3 times, he still continued to hoop and ball. Even though he got taken off the team, he still continued to press forward. And the game that impressed me the most is the flu game. And those of you who may not be familiar with the flu game, even though Michael Jordan had the flu, it was one of the best performing games in his life. So I challenge you today to be the Michael Jordan of your career. I challenge you today to continue to press through the process. And I challenge you today, if you don't do anything else when you walk out of these doors, trust